It is not just the absence of Bryce Harper, although they are 1-6 without Bryce Harper. It's the absence, at least seeming absence, of emotion, of joy, of passion, of want to. Phillies lose 2-1 to the stinking Pittsburgh Pirates as we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Are you going to talk now? Son of a gun.
Don't start with me.
Start with it. He's already upset because they lost, and I get it. Ricky Bo, they are 1-8 in their last 9 games. This is after being 23-6 from the end of April to the end of May. They look like world beaters. Not that now.
World beaters, but look who you were playing. I'm not saying that's the whole end-all, be-all, because you're playing a team that's under 500 right now, and they're beating you down right now. 4 hits is just not enough. I want you to think about this. This is the Philadelphia Phillies. You don't have Bryce Harper. Should that be this big of a deal? Let me put it to you this way. You have Trey Turner. You have Nick Castellanos. You have Kyle Schwarber.
Alec Bohm.
Alec Bohm. You're going to tell me that you can't mix together against Mr. Heaney, you can't get more than 4 hits? Mm-hmm. I think that's a pathetic display of offense is what I think. And as a matter of fact, you go even deeper. You look at how many guys they sent up to the plate. I bet you without looking, how many times did they go 3 and down? 3 and down.
Oh, at least 5.
6. 6 times. You know what the most amount of hitters that showed up in an inning?
How many?
4.
That's it.
4 the whole game.
Yeah, that
is not exactly putting a rally together. You were 0 for 3. That 7th inning was a disaster after an Alec Bohm double, and the Pirates are trying to let him go they give him third base, and you can't score? You're talking Castellanos, JT, and Stott could not get a runner in. I don't blame Stott because it's 2 outs. That's not really his problem. But I look at JT, you look at Casty, you got to get a run in there.
Yeah, we also got to talk a little bit about the aforementioned Mr. Heaney, Andrew Heaney.
He was pretty good.
Who was the starter today for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The guy's 34 years old. He's our eye on the mound, presented by PGW Energy for all of us. Andrew Heaney had pitched lights out at the beginning of the season, but his ERA is pushing 5 over his recent starts. Not good. Could have fooled us with regard to the Phillies, Ricky Bo. He set him down.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen. He really pitched well. He really did. I think he threw the ball well. He changed speeds. And I told you, I had a feeling that this was going to be one of those games where there's going to be a lot of going after pitches early in the count because you didn't want to really get behind to Heaney because he's got some off-speed stuff that could really throw you off. The other problem is that he doesn't throw that hard. And when you don't have your timing down against somebody like this, they could drive you a little wild. Yeah, they hit the ball up in the air, but what you're seeing is pop-ups. What does that mean? Their timing was off. The pitch selection was good by Heaney, and he kind of moved the ball around really well. I'm not saying he pitched like Roger Clemens. What I do know is that he threw the ball well today.
Yeah, inside the box score, look at the zeros here. Trey Turner 0 for 4. Don't want to pick on him. He is batting over 300. Real Muto, nothing. Sosa, no. Otto Kemp in his debut, 0 for 3. Made some decent plays at third base. Weston Wilson, no. Johan Rojas has a hit. So the second half of the lineup, Ricky Bo, a lot of zeros there. They really need to help uplift, especially with Harper out. And again, Harper being out's not nothing. It's significance. You're talking about their former MVP and an MVP caliber guy. They are now 1-6 in games that Bryce Harper sits.
And this is something that I will beat down because I look at it like this. You have guys that are up at the top of the lineup in Turner, Schwarber, and Alec Bohm. Those guys you should know are going to hit the baseball. Even Nick Castellanos, I would push into that. But the numbers 5 through 9 in the Phillies lineup tonight, and those of you who don't think it's important, I think this is a game that will stick out to you. 1 for 15. 1 for 15, your number 5 through 9 hitters. That's not getting any production from the bottom of the lineup. You might as well throw me and you in that lineup and let us swing through because we're not helping as much as they did.
And here's case in point, Ricky Bo. Take a look at what happened in the top of the 7th inning to Alec Bohm. You talk about runners in scoring position, and Bohm gets on base. It's a beautiful shot here, and eventually he will be stranded at third base. Goes the other way with it. Nice gapper, ends up on second base.
By the way, 1-2 pitch, and he gets on top of a high fastball that's out over the plate, and he hits it into right center field. That's a great piece of hitting by him. Not taking anything away from him. Here's your base. Mm-hmm. Take it. And by the way, aren't you thinking there's a run?
Yeah, easy.
Awesome.
Easy.
Automatic.
You're gifted a run.
This to me is almost an automatic run. Heaney's going to come out of the game because he didn't want to give up more than one run. And
there's an injury involved.
Yeah, I know. He apparently it looked like a calf, a leg injury, something to that effect. I don't think it's that hugely serious.
It's just Isaac Madsen and Sir Isaac, I believe. Madsen.
He came in, threw the ball well. It has a pretty good changeup. He painted a fastball there on Castellanos. Castellanos didn't like it, but it was there. It was in the box, and all of a sudden, you're still saying to yourself, all right, we got one out. Just hit a fly ball. Yeah. At least get the tying run in, and then JT comes in. Oh, there's your fly ball.
Yeah. That's not where you want it.
Anywhere near
way too shallow.
Enough. I mean, and Alec Boehm does the right thing. He's got to go halfway there. That ball hits off his glove, falls straight down.
Stop pinch
now
hits.
You got to be able to score. Stop pinch hits right here.
Full count, by the way. Full count.
Full count. What's next?
Fly out
center field. It's just, these are the things that can't happen. You have to be able to manufacture these runs. And that is almost like a free RBI.
Right.
All you got to do is put the ball in play and bid in the outfield.
Yeah, that's not even a run manufacturer. That's a gift, especially with the wild pitch.
Yeah, from second to third was a gift. They put you in a golden situation to score a run, and the Phillies did not do it. 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position today. That's not saying much. And I told you there were 3 innings that they had 4 runners on base. One of them was a home run.
Yeah.
So that was basically the home run and 3 others made now.
Right. Think about that. 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. You have the the complete lack of success.
Well, there was one double, and there was one double play on the line.
But they only had 3 opportunities to even get there. That's not enough either.
The offense looks sad, and I hope it's not just because Bryce Harper's out, because I believe in some of these guys that are in this lineup, but you need depth. These are the times where you need the depth. These are the times where you need the bottom of the order to do something, anything. And we didn't see it today.
Ranger Suarez comes in at 4-0. He gets tagged with a loss. Completely does not deserve that fate. And take a look at Henry Davis. And this is in the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th, with a score tied at 1. And Ranger moving along. And Davis gets hold of 1, and that's out of there. And that's the only extra run that Pittsburgh would need.
Yeah, you see, and it's the odd part is he really threw his changeup well today, except for that one. That one just stayed up. That stayed up about 2 inches too high. And Davis got under it. Davis is a pretty good hitter, by the way. And you know what? You make a little bit of a mistake, he's going to make you pay for it. He made the Phillies pay for it. He made Ranger pay for it. He made everybody pay for it. We're paying for it.
Yeah, we sure are right now. But, I think we're going to be on till like about 11, as we got to talk about all of it. You know what I mean?
Well.
Okay, that might be too late. But here's the question for you. When you see that Ranger Suarez's record is 4-1, he came in at 4-0, but the team's record when he pitches is 4-3. He deserves a far better fate than that. What does that mean to you?
Well, his first game, he was really bad.
Yeah.
Besides that, I think he's been good. He's been on point. He's throwing his pitches well. Even in the first inning of this game, he did not look right. He didn't look like he wanted. He was kind of starting off with some fastballs, some sinkers, and they were getting hit hard. But what did Ranger do? Ranger made an adjustment. Ranger started throwing a lot more breaking pitches, a lot more changeups, getting them out with the changeup, being able to get ahead with the curveball. Isn't that what you want him to do? If he sees something that it looked like the Pirates were doing. We talked about this in pregame, that the Pirates are a desperate team. When you're a desperate team, the first thing you're going to do is look for the first strike and swing. And that's what they did today. I mean, it's not like the Pirates hit the ball all over the ballpark either. They had a couple timely hits, a nice home run, and then, the next thing you know, it's a 2-1 ball game, and Rangers kind of looking down saying, what just happened?
Yeah. One team is 37-27. That'd be the Phillies. The other team's 24-40. Seemed like those
25.
records were 20. No. I added it up. It's 24-40. Here's Rob Thompson, postgame.
Probably easier said than done kind of thing, but just what do you think needs to happen to kind of spark the offense right now?
I think it's more approach than anything, get back to using the middle of the field. I think guys are trying to do a little bit too much right now. Give credit to Heaney. He kept us off balance and pumped strikes and got quick outs and got ahead in the count. But, we need to get back to using the field, working pitchers.
See, guys are doing too much. Is that because maybe they're struggling, you think, or knowing that Bryce is out of the lineup? You've had him
probably a combination of both,
We've
talked about it before in that, like, it sort of happens where everybody kind of falls into that at the same time. You know, do you typically kind of expect that somebody will kind of carry you for a little while other guys are struggling, or why do you think it sort of tends to happen to all of them at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, usually what happens is that there's a couple of guys in the lineup that are hot, and when you get in this type of phase or week or whatever it's been, you know, it's shocking, or not shocking, but it's, you know, it's tough. And like I said, guys try to do too much. They try to get, one guy tries to get everybody out of it, and you know, it just kind of snowballs. But we got to get back to basics and keep it simple and get back to using the field.
The guys in the left field and center field platoons, is there like anything you think you can do there, or is it just a matter of sending them out there and just waiting for it to turn?
Well, I think you got to send them out there. Somebody's got to play out there. So, yeah, you know, I think that those guys, I still have trust in them that they're going to hit, and it's just a matter of time. But we gotta get going.
Tough luck for Ranger, considering.
Yeah, he really pitched good. I mean, first pitch strikes, command of the zone. His changeup was really good. 24, I think it was 24 pitch first inning too.
Yeah.
And he got through 7, so that was a really good day's work.
Do you worry a little bit that with the offense struggling and every pitch kind of having to be a little bit more high leverage with a guy like that?
Well, it's kind of where you're at in the playoff scene, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really worry about it, but I'm glad that he can handle that type of thing.
And what'd you see out of camp today, just offensively, defensively?
Defensively, it was good, clean, you know. That one slow roller made it easy. A couple of hard ground balls at him. And I liked his swing. You know, I know he struck out twice, but he was right on some pitches.
Do you anticipate playing him every day, or is it a mix and match?
I think most of the time, yeah. But we'll see.
Playing the first inning, I mean, Wilson's only chance there is to dive, but, you know, you just sort of think, like, well, I mean, if there's a way to keep it in front of you, or, I mean, did you like the fact that he went for it there?
Well, I that early in the game, I probably want to keep the ball in front of me.
Grungo Law brings us hit of the game. It comes in the first inning. Second batter, Mr. Kyle Schwarber with 19 home runs coming into today, and that's 20th home run. And guess what? The Phillies coming into this game 29-9 when they score first. 29-9. Now 29-10. That's a incredible winning percentage.
It's unbelievable how he stays on this pitch. I mean, it's a lefty kind of coming from 3/4, so it's coming from behind you. And he just waits for the pitch to get deep, and he hits it out to left center field. That's the only good news that, well, him and Ranger, the only two things that you could take out of this game. If you find something else, email me.
But there are some statistics that do tell you something, and when you're 29-9, when you score first, it means you've got enough firepower to take you through the game. They scored first by virtue of that home run, and then poof, nothing after that. It just went away. Now, when they score 3 or fewer, they're 9-17. 9-17, and by the way, if they're trailing after 7 innings, they're 2-21. So that's, you know, that's not happening. And meanwhile, take a look at Ranger Suarez this afternoon, and his team failed him today as he was bidding for his 5th win against no defeats. He'll have to settle for 4-1 after this one. But Ricky Bo, quality start and then some. 7 strong innings for Ranger Suarez. He does give up that late home run, unfortunately, to Henry Davis. But what did you like out of him today?
I thought the adjustment early on in the ball game would stick out to me as number one. But the other thing is you know what? Being able to hit your spots, going in and out, staying out of that middle, taking the ground ball when you can get it. And to me, that's the biggest key in the world for a guy like Ranger Suarez, keeping the ball on the ground. You keep it on the ground, you're going to get a lot of outs. You talked about it, 12 ground ball outs in his last start. Tonight was 10. I mean, so when I look at him as a whole, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
You keep the ball on the ground, you're doing your job day in, day out. So you take 10, you add the 5 strikeouts, that's 15 of his outs right there. That's 5 innings worth of outs that are already taken care of that should be played. Like the defense should make a play on it. And I mean, you know, when you look at Ranger, this is the guy you want to see. You either want him to be a lights-out strikeout guy or a guy that's putting the ball on the ground.
Also, what bugs me about Ranger is I think a lot of us gave up on him last year after he looked like a Cy Young guy, and then all of a sudden, poof, it went away. He spent significant time on the IL with back issues, and then he came back and he was not the same guy he had been.
Yeah.
Has that tough start to open up this season, and he started the season late, and then all of a sudden he's pitching lights out again, and I'm wondering whether it was all injury for him, and he's finally over it and healthy.
It very well could have been because, you know, even in that first start this year, you watch him and you knew he wasn't ready. You could just tell after he went 2 innings and then all of a sudden he looked awful. I mean, like he didn't know what he was doing out there again. It actually looked like he was tired, which tells me he didn't spread himself out enough. He didn't get enough pitches in. Then all of a sudden he's kind of come back and he's into his own element now again. And even today, I think this is a beautiful game to kind of take away from Ranger Suarez because gives up a triple and a single to lead off the ballgame. He gives up a run already. What did he do after that? He changed his way. He started pitching backwards at times. He moved the ball, especially away to the right-handed hitters, and kind of almost dared them to swing because he was on the plate, and then he would start nudging off of the plate a little bit. And that, to me, that's pitching.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, especially for a left-hander.
Is he calling his own pitches in your view? Is that coming from
Probably
JT?
not. Probably not. I think JT's the guy that you know is calling pitches. I think when he's behind the plate, if he needs help, I'm sure there's somebody there every once in a while that's been like, hey, you know, change up in this spot would be good. But for the most part, I would say JT's calling his own stuff.
Last 6 appearances or outings for Ranger Suarez.